Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. And today I'm actually just gonna sit and talk because I wanted to make a sort of team report for my Calyrex Ice-rider team, which I am actually very proud of, to an extent to say it. I think honestly this is, if not the best, one of the best Calyrex Ice-rider teams out there. And if you don't believe me, just look up my rating on Showdown. At the moment, I'm sitting at number, or at least when I looked like 20 minutes ago, I was number 102 with a rating of 1694. So, this team, or most of my teams up until this point, I've been very secretive of because I am, as I think I've told earlier, a part of the Victory Road World Cup, which means I try to keep my teams as close to my chest as possible, but I can now share this one because it's already been used. So I will have to try and think of something else for the next round if I get chosen to play. Yeah. I just, for the record, I did win the match 2-0 in sets against my opponent from Uruguay. He played well, but luckily I managed to come up victorious for hashtag Team Norway. And that is also one of the reasons I chose to run Calyrex, because I actually wanted, for the first match I played, I wanted to have a team that was that could like represent me as a Norwegian, because what we were famous of, we were famous about like skiing, snow, mountains. We have an ice rider, which almost became our mascot, but we ended up with a load of Ninetales, and I thought Caly-I would be a little better in this format. So I decided to do a Trick Room team featuring Calyrex Ice-rider. Now, I don't know how long this video will be, so I will try and remember to put timestamps in the video. So if there is a particular Pokemon you are interested in hearing about, then you can just click in the description. And the team, both rental code and the paste you see on screen will be in the description. So, first things first, Calyrex Ice-rider. I chose very simple attacks. Seeing that it's a Trick Room team and Calyrex learns Trick Room, I decided on Trick Room and Protect, as well as attacking attacks with Glacial Lance, which is pretty obvious, and high horsepower. And honestly, you don't need more than that, because Glacial Lance hits the majority of the format for a pretty good amount. I think even a like max special attack, max speed, modest Kyogre takes almost 50% from a Glacial Lance from the spread. So yes, that just goes to show how gosh darn strong this Pokemon actually is. High horsepower is there to hit what Glacial Lance does not hit very well. So for example, Stakataka or Incineroar, which I will come back to later. But these two attacks hits all of the format for either super effective or neutral. So I decided this is enough. And besides, with the ability it has in as one, which combines a nerve with Glacial's Chilling Neigh, which, if you don't know, increases the attack stat of Calyrex for each Pokemon it knocks out by one stage. So if it gets a double knockout, then the attack stat is increased by 2 stages. The spread for this Pokemon is very simple: 252 HP, 252 attack, 4 special defense with a brave nature. I just want to do as much damage as possible, and as you might notice, this is not set to have IVs to 0 in speed. And the reason for that is with Brave Nature, Calyrex is slower than the majority that I wanted to be slower than. And if I, for some reason, when I actually meet a Trick Room team with this, then my team usually is faster outside of Trick Room because I don't run min speed, just Brave with 31 IVs. And also my Calyrex that I caught in game is 31 IVs, so I can't exactly go any lower. This spread, the main calcs that is interesting, I think, is especially against Calyrex Shadow-Rider, because that's a Pokemon which is difficult to deal with outside of Trick Room. But the thing is, with Life Orb on the Calyrex Shadow-Rider, an Astral Barrage will only have like a 50-ish% to OHKO. I could probably have calc to do that, but that means I will lose attack power, and I wasn't exactly keen on doing that. And high horsepower. No, wait. First of all, the Calyrex, if we survive Life Orb, you can hit back with a Glacial Lance, which, if not do equal amount, I think has a possibility to OHKO. I'm not sure. I haven't calculated that, but it does a lot. But Calyrex the Shadow Rider needs a boosting item for Astral Barrage to KO, because if it doesn't, a non-boosted 252 special attack Calyrex Shadow Rider Astral Barrage only does a maximum amount of 84%. So if you face a Scarf Calyrex Shadow Rider, then it's not a problem. Then you can safely put up Trick Room if you know it is Scarf or I think Scarf is the most used one for Shadow Rider, when it's not like Life Orb, or if it's Focus Sash Shadow Rider. High horsepower is mostly used for Incin and Stakataka, as I think I mentioned earlier. High horsepower at -1 will do still over 50% to Incin. So on the Trick Room, Calyrex Ice-rider can handle Incin because they normally don't run attack. So 2 high horsepowers, even at -1, will get the knockout. And you don't have to worry about it being Citrus Berry Incin, because a Nerve on Calyrex will prevent the Incin from eating the berry. So it still will be a 2 KO. Now, this implies that the Incin has switched in Intimidated and gone back out and switched in again, because I run as an item on Calyrex just because of Intimidate is so common now. I run White Herb, which means all stat drops will return to normal or to 0. So just a high horsepower into an Incin will do, if it's the standard Incin that can tank Xerneas, the 236-4, will do 77 to 91%. And then also this set can survive a Xerneas Moonblast at +2. It will do a maximum of 99%. So that only is for timid max special attack, not modest. That probably gets a KO straight away. So that's Glacier. Then let's move on to the next one, which is Milotic. Now, Milotic is here for a couple of reasons. One, it walls Zacian decently well, and it is a competitive user, which can take advantage of opposing Intimidate with Landorus and Incin, and 1v1 them pretty easily. So on my Milotic, I run Ice Beam, Scald, Protect, and Recover. I love Protect. It's one of the moves you will see most used in my teams. Mostly because almost every Pokemon get it, but it is so good. So yeah, I usually use Protect on all my mons. Not every mon, so. But yeah, and the ability is obviously competitive to take advantage of Incins, which makes opponent could be hesitant to bring it or switch it in. If I have, for example, Calyrex and Milotic next to each other, which benefits me. Now, first of all, I would always use this shiny because I have a legit shiny one in game. So that's also one of the things I do when I pick Pokemon. I see if I have one of my legit shiny ones that I can use. Then I tend to be like, I want to use that one. What spread should I use? So then we have the spread, as mentioned. 244 HP, 124 defense, 84 special attack, 12 special defense, and 44 speed. Now, firstly, we can take the speed. That is actually speed creeping for Rillaboom. If they choose to go for Woodhammer, I think we can take a. You know what? I'm gonna check that. Let's see. Rillaboom default versus Milotic. Blank. So what did I say we had? 244, 124. 244, 124. Bold. Yeah, we can take a Grassy Glide from Adamant Rillaboom with Assault Vest, which is the most common one at the moment. So the speed is there for then the speed creep Rillaboom for not if they not run speed. Then I just added the defense EVs because I wanted at least 2 resists to Zacian, and when I built this team, the most common set for Zacian was Behemoth Blade, Sacred Sword, Sub Protect. And this spread defensively is to take a 252 attack +1 Zacian Sacred Sword after leftovers. It is a 3-hit KO guaranteed. So I have Rillaboom on this team as well. So with both leftovers, grassy surge recovery, or grassy drain recovery, and the possibility to protect and recover, we can 1v1 Zacian, I think. Especially with a chance of a Skull Burn to make it even easier. 84 special attack. If the Zacian doesn't have bulk, then a Scald will always KO a substitute. I think it does 26% minimum. And then just the rest in Spadef. I'm not sure how much it takes from a Zacian, but I know we with ease can live a +2 Dazzling Gleam. I'm not sure if we can take a Moonblast. I think we might, but I'm not sure. Yeah, and then, as I said, the item for this is leftovers, because it's such a bulky Pokemon and the recovery is nice. And with the leftovers, as I said, Sacred Sword is only a 3-hit KO. So then we have Volcarona. Now, Volcarona again was chosen for 2 reasons. I wanted a Zacian counter because, or technically it's actually multiple reasons, I think. First was the fact that I wanted a Zacian counter. Second, because it's proven very good this format. Third, it was with the Flame Body ability, it gets like burns on physical attackers. And again, I had this legit shiny, and when people started running it as a bulky support, I was like, yes, let's do it. So on this, I chose to run Flamethrower, Rage Powder, Quiver Dance, and Protect. Flamethrower over Overheat, mainly because I don't want to miss. And I don't need a 1-hit KO on Zacian. And if they for some reason choose to sub, and I had to use Overheat to KO the sub and then attack afterwards, then I wouldn't KO. So therefore I chose Flamethrower, and also Flamethrower over Heat Wave, because then I don't get the spread. I'll get the spread decrease in attack power. And also Heat Wave has a chance to miss, and I don't like that. So that's why I run Flamethrower. That's my personal preference. Rage Power. Ooh, whoa. Rage Powder, because it's one of the best moves in the game. Again, together with Protect. For those of you who don't know, this redirects any attack. It works like Follow Me. So it redirects every attack into the Pokemon that uses it, except for Pokemon that wears safety goggles, or if the Pokemon is a grass type, then they won't be affected by the Rage Powder, so they can still attack into the Pokemon you want to try and move the attacks away from. Now, Quiver Dance, I was a little bit reluctant on, but I didn't use. So this attack was a little bit up in the air. This could have been multiple attacks. So I ended up with Quiver Dance because it makes it bulkier, and it makes it bulkier on the special side, and stronger. Flamethrower becomes stronger, and the speed increases, which isn't bad at all. So if you, for example, predict a protect on a Zacian, you can go for Flamethrower. No, you can go for Quiver Dance. And then you, I think, yeah, then you can Oko Zacian with Flamethrower. Before Quiver Dance, I had Will-O-Wisp, but I decided not to go with it because I didn't use it at all, and it has Flame Body, so it was a little bit too much, I would say. So yeah, so in theory, this attack slot could, if you don't want to run Quiver Dance, it could be Struggle Bug, because that is a multi-hit move that decreases it. It is basically Snarl, which hits both opponents, decreases the special attack stat 100% of the time, and is 100% accurate. That's the difference from Snarl. So technically, this is a better Snarl. But yeah. The spread on this one is probably the one I sat the longest with. This is 228 HP, 180 defense, and 100 special defense. And so +1 252 attack Zacian, Behemoth Blade does 46 to 53 or 54%. So if it gets 2 max rolls, or technically what you want with Zacian is like low roll and then high roll, because then the Citrus Berry don't proc. But if they do over 50%, Citrus Berry will proc, and Volcarona can take at least 3 hits from Zacian most of the times. And it still also have the option, if they choose to attack, the Flame Body can proc. So if you attack and then you risk getting your Zacian burned. The same goes for Urshifu Rapid Strike. Now, a non-water attack boosted Surging Strikes from a 252 attack Urshifu against this spread has actually a small chance to not KO. I don't know what people run now, but Surging Strikes, 2 hits will not knock it out, and Volk still has a chance actually to live the third one. And with 3 hits on a Flame Body Pokemon, which has a 30% chance to burn, then the odds of surviving are actually pretty good, even against Urshifu Rapid Strike. Oops, sorry. And the last Pokemon, which I thought was necessary to calc for, is Xerneas. And this spread, +2 252 special attack Fairy-Aura Xerneas Moonblast does 49 to 59%, which again means it most likely hits over 50% the first time. Citrus Berry procs and makes it able to survive 3 hits. Or the point is at least 2, because there might be other Pokemon that attacks it as well. So this Volcarona I am actually very proud of, because the bulk is actually very impressive. And yeah, it's a good check to Zacian. And then we can move on. I don't think I have forgotten anything. Go on to stack. So Stakataka is here because opposing Volcarona is a problem. Now, I tried a lot of teams without a rock type attack, and in the beginning that was very hard because Volcarona was so common. So I decided that my second Trick Room user should be Stakataka. Now, I chose Gyro Ball, Rock Slide, Trick Room, and White Guard as my attacks with a Brave Nature. Gyro Ball, obviously for Xerneas. Rock Slide to hit fire types like Volcarona, Insin. And Trick Room to, yes, set up Trick Room. The spread of 252 HP, 188 attack, 68 defense actually makes it so it can live a close combat from a Mienshao. That is though only if the Grassy Seed has procced. And yes, we run Grassy Seed over something like Choppleberry because Mienshao is usually paired with Calyrex Ice-rider, which means a nerve from Calyrex will make it so the Choppleberry won't proc, and Mienshao will just straight up knock out the Stakataka before it gets to set up Trick Room. So therefore we run Grassy Seed with Rillaboom, which we will go over in a minute. So yeah, as I said, as +1 defense, this spread always lives a close combat from Mienshao. And as I said, being a check to the fire types, Volcarona, Insin, Ho-Oh, which I forgot to mention earlier. And this I don't think is too important, but then I know to prevent speed ties. I have one speed IV on Stakataka, which makes it so we're still slower than something like Torkoal on the Trick Room, but we are not speed tying with opposing Stakataka. Although I cannot hit it for like good damage, I know at least it doesn't come down to a speed tie. So if we are outside Trick Room, most of the times my Stakataka will move before the opposing one. And yeah, I think that's actually all to say about Stakataka. Yeah, I can say this too. With this spread, also Urshifu rapid strike or single strike, Urshifu itself with a close combat has a small chance to Oko Stakataka at +1. So if it's a focus sash one, if it's a choice banded one, there's no way we're living. But if it is the focus sash variant, then Stakataka, it is a 6.3% chance to Oko stack at +1. But I figured that was a risk I was willing to take because I was mainly making the set for Mienshao because it was so common next to Calyrex Ice-rider. Now we're starting to move a little bit more quicker. Next Pokemon will be the Rillaboom, and Rillaboom is here to proc the Grassy Seed on Stakataka, and 2 as the main counter to Kyogre. Now, against Kyogre, I usually lead Rillaboom with Calyrex. And that is because both Rillaboom and Calyrex can take a water spout from a modest Mystic Water Kyogre in the rain and still get Trick Room up and possibly do damage. The way I usually do this is that I actually go Fake Out turn 1, except for if... Oh wait, we can take that afterwards. Yeah, attacks. Fake Out Woodhammer, Aggressive Glide in your turn. Now, against stuff like Kyogre, depends on what they lead, because the usual ones are Serena, Kyogre, Tornadus Kyogre. Yeah, those are the ones I usually see, and then they switch in Serena turn 1 for either one. And what I usually like is going Fake Out with Trick Room turn 1, because if they don't switch, I get a Fake Out off, and I usually actually go for it against Tornadus. Fake Out Tornadus in the possibility if it is Focus Sash. And Trick Room, because I know I survive unless it is Choice Specs, Kyogre. And if he switches in Serena, it's either in the slot of... It depends. It depends on the mood I'm in. I tend to almost click Woodhammer against Kyogre as well. And Trick Room, or if it is a best of 3 and I already done this, I might just click Glacial Lance turn 1, because I know it does a lot of damage, and then I usually manage to KO is Arena coming in. So that is also a play you can do. As I said, it does almost 50% if the Kyogre is not bulky. And if the Serena comes in, so I think that is actually the best play turn 1 against that. So if it is Kyogre, Torn, Glacial Lance, and Grassy Glide turn 1, because if they switch Serena in, it goes down. If they don't switch, then Rillaboom KOs Kyogre 100% of the time. And if the Tornadus is not sashed, then that is just going down. And if they switch in Serena for Tornadus, then yes, they get damage off, but Serena will then be KO'd, so I can go Grassy Glide the next turn or switch out if I predict like a Protect and Hurricane into Rillaboom. Obviously for item, I run Assault Vest to be able to take a Water Spout from Kyogre, and also a Hurricane, and not like both attacks, but it can take one Hurricane from a non-life orb Tornadus. I have seen those two, so you should be aware of that. Now the EVs for this, I think the usual spread is 252, 252, and 4 somewhere. I'm not sure where that 4 is usually put, but seeing that I run Trick Room, I put as much as I can in HP. I max out the attack, and the 20 in speed is actually to make it so that I, outside of Trick Room, has a chance to outspeed a speed creeping Zarina, because what I would imagine, if Kyogre players speed creep Rillabooms, they would go either 106 or 107, just to be sure to outspeed either just full bulk Rillaboom, which is 105, or they go 106, 107 to guaranteed outspeed for speed IVE Rillaboom. This makes it so I can U-turn on them and not have to take a triple axle or a U-turn my way. So yeah, Rillaboom is nice with the priority, the switch initiative, the fake out, and also being the primary check to Kyogre. Now I think we're on our I think that's it for Rillaboom. So the last Pokemon we have is Galarian Moltres. Now, why would I pick Galarian Moltres over something else? First of all, I wanted another special attacker, and there's not that many good special attackers that is a dark type, because if you look at the 5 over Moltres, the Calyrex Ice-rider, even though the Pokemon on this team can take hits from it, is not very good into it. So that's why I chose Galarian Moltres, because Fury Wrath hits it, even though it's paired up with Indeedee female, because it's a spread attack. So the attacks, yeah, pretty standard Nasty Plot, Fury Rat, Air Slash, and Protect, with bold nature actually, and and a lot of defense investment. So as I said, primarily check to Calyrex Ice-rider. Berserk ability is very nice, because if I, for example, face off against a Regieleki, which is why the Vakan, yeah, the electric resist berry, Vakan berry, I think that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, against the Regieleki, then even I think a Choice Specs Thunder we can live from Regieleki when it's not electric terrain. But still, Choice Specs Thunder, I think we still survive. And with the Berserk boost, we KO back with a Fury Wrath. Unless it is Focus Sash, of course. I think also a Astral Barrage from Calyrex Ice-rider is like a 4 or 5 hit KO. I think possibly 5. Yeah. But this Moltres also is not only for Calyrex, it's also a good check into like Urshifu and Mienshao and Rillaboom, probably, especially given that it's a flying type. I had again, the defense is for it to survive Mienshao better. It had this is to live 2 close combats most of the time. But yeah, mainly here to deal with Calyrex Ice-rider and support the team any other way they can. And Nasty Plot and then Fury Wrath does big damage, so you can't exactly leave it alone, even though it doesn't do a lot of damage non-boosted. So yeah, that is the team. We got on way faster in the end here, but yeah, I think that's good. Anyone who anyone who want to try it out can look in the description, and for all those of you that actually listen to the whole thing, thank you guys so much for watching, or at least anyone who actually tuned in. Thank you guys for listening, and hopefully you find the team interesting or helpful, and yeah, just enjoy. So I will say that's all for me. We have 41 minutes. It became a video. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching again, and I'll see you guys next time.